What's up everyone? Today's video we're going to be going over Murder Mystery 2 values right now and which items you guys should all invest in right now. So we're going to be going over the Godly section first. And also keep in mind while you're watching this video, it last updated on the 23rd of April. I am currently filming this on the 26th of April. So we got our very first item to go over here that I want to go over is the Evergun and the Evergreen, but let's kind of go over both of them all at once. I do think that they will both be regaining, as you can see here, they regain some value, and I think that they're just going to be gaining some demand, some value, and I really do strongly think that you guys should invest in one for your guys' self. I wouldn't overpay too much. I'd overpay maybe 10 to 20, so you get a pretty okay profit there. But I really do think that in the future, these two will go up again in value. Now we've got the Traveler's Gun, and the Traveler's Gun is it's pretty much already peaked out in value, to be honest. It's a pretty mid gun, in my personal opinion. I actually got it for the first time pretty recently, and I just didn't like the gun. I don't really know why it has such high demand, to be honest. Maybe for the set, but other than that, I really do think that this is going to peak, and it has peaked out, and it's gonna stay around 3.7, 3.6, and it's gonna start going down again, which is common with weapons. Then we got the Turkey, and the Turkey is really stable right now. I actually, I've heard some people say that it's going down and stuff, but I honestly think that there's a good chance that the Turkey might even regain some value within the next couple of updates on Supreme. But as of now, it is pretty stable, and I wouldn't overpay for it personally. The Blossom set, this is going down a little bit. As you guys can see here in the past few updates, it's gone down a little bit of value. But overall, you know what? It's not that bad, but it's hard to even get like Harv for one of these Harvester, which is like 50 value less, because that's gaining. Honestly, I don't think it's worth getting Blossom set right now, personally. But that brings us to Dark Set, and the Dark Set is actually starting to regain here, as you guys can see. But I will say this, that the Dark Set is extremely stable right now, and I don't really see it getting too high up there. So I'm going to say it's stable at around 490 to 500. We're not going to be going over every Godly, by the way, just all of these main ones, or some of them at least. Constellation and Celestial, for that matter, is doing well right now currently and is continuing to gain some value, and I do think that this will peak at around 550 value. That is my personal prediction. And we got Vampire's Gun. This is losing value, so is the Vampire's Axe, and I think it's just that they lost their demand. I just don't think that people are a big fan of those two weapons anymore. I mean, they were cool when they released, but honestly, they're pretty mid, like looking back at them today. So I think that's what's happening with that. So I would not stash on Vampire set. I'll repeat that again. Don't get the Vampire set. It won't be regaining, it won't be gaining value, it won't be doing well anytime soon. But then we got Babel and Bobble, I think it's Babel. But anyways, this is currently improving, meaning it's regaining right now. And I don't think it's bad to have, actually. I think it's a solid weapon. You know, I wouldn't overpay for it personally, but you could if you wanted to. I mean, it would honestly probably be a win in the future. I just try to get as less value as possible for it. But then we got the Floor set, and on the other hand, this set is completely dying out in demand, in value, and I would not trade for this unless it's a really nice win. Like I would do maybe like for the entire set, maybe like a Rainbow. Honestly, like it has to be like a really nice win like that. Otherwise, I don't think it's worth getting this set right now, and it's very hard to flip. Then we got Bat. Bat is currently regaining, but I think it's pretty stable at where it's at, fluctuating currently. And Rainbow set is very stable. And I think that's about it for the main ones. You know, we got Candy, which is currently actually going down in value. And I would not honestly trade. If you have Candy right now, or Sugar for that matter, I would not trade either of them. I would keep them until they're finally regaining again, which could be in weeks or even months. But that's about it. You know, for the rest of these, they're really stable. So that's it for the Godly section. So now we've got the Ancient section, and the Ancient section, honestly, it's actually doing very well right now, for literally almost every high tier Ancient. So we got Ginger Scope. Ginger Scope is currently doing very well right now. It is gaining a lot of value right now. It is currently at 9.5 thousand, and I'm going to say that Scope will be peaking, meaning it will come to its cap at around 9.8 thousand. That's what a lot of the professional stalkers are saying. And then at that point, it's going to be stable, and it's probably just going to go down from there. But it is very solid to have right now. So if you have Ginger Scope, honestly, you know, unless you have a really good trade coming in, a nice overpay, like 10.5 thousand worth of value that of decent weapons that you can trust, I wouldn't be trading Ginger Scope. But just keep in mind, you know, if you want to try to flee, you know, because keep in mind it's gonna stop rising at around 9.8 most likely. Obviously, it's not a guarantee. Um, but yeah, you can trade it or you can keep it, whichever one. But it is a solid weapon to have. So then we got Traveler's Axe, and Traveler's Axe has officially peaked in value. It is currently at 6.3 thousand, and it is pretty stable. And I think from here it's just gonna be slowly going down in value. Same with the Traveler's Gun. Um, Traveler's Gun is definitely going to be stable next update, by the way. Especially because you can see here the axe is stable. The odds of the gun continuing to rise are like impossible. Also, there's a lot of people in the game right now, I'll just add this, that have all of these insane Traveler gun stacks, which is a bad sign for Traveler doing well in the future. You know, that's just kind of a given. But anyways, because they trade the stacks, of course, and it makes the weapon, have a lot of circulation. But anyways, we got Harvester. So Harvester is currently doing really well. It's taking nice overpays right now. It's taking like a 50 overpay at the bare minimum. If you have Harvester, personally, I would not trade it unless you have like 150 OP of trustworthy items. But Harvester is a very nice one to have right now, and I definitely keep your bow. Same with Ice Piercer. I am a little concerned that Ice Piercer didn't rise with Harvester last update on either MM2 values and Supreme. That's a little concerning, but I wouldn't be too worried. I still do think that this is also worth having. And I do think that this is guaranteed to rise next update, 25 to 50 value, most likely 25. And then we got Celestial. Celestial is currently rising right now. I don't think it's gonna be peaking. I think it's gonna stop rising at around probably 675 to 700. So I think we're getting there. But currently, it is nice to have, and it takes some decent OPs. I'm gonna say maybe a 40 to 60 OP, around that range. Vampire's Axe again, not doing well. You really don't want to own this item right now. And then for the rest of these, you know, I'm not going to really be going over each individual weapon, but as you guys can see here, they're very stable. They're slowly going down, but that's kind of just the MM2 economy. Like, this was like 40 a couple months ago, now it's 25. Batwing was just 80, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, now it's 60. Now we've got the Chromas, so starting with the highest tier Chromas, we got the Chroma Traveler's Gun. Obviously, this is always doing well. It's always overpaid for by about, realistically, this is overpaid for by about 20,000 value, something crazy like that. So yeah, Traveler's Gun is Sea Traveler is always nice to have, and obviously is the best weapon in the entire game. And then we got Chroma Evergun. This is pretty stable. But I feel like these high tier chromas, they just never go down in value. They're very sought after, they look really nice, and they deserve to be a lot of value in my personal opinion. They're also very rare to come across. If you haven't noticed, you see probably around 50 to 100 times the amount of ginger scopes per even Chroma Evergun alone. So seeing Green, but seeing Chroma Evergun is like almost double as rare, and then seeing Chroma Vampire's Gun is extremely rare, almost impossible, and when you do see it, it's usually just the same guy that you saw like a couple of weeks ago. It's always like the same guy. There's really like almost none of these in circulation. They will continue to rise over time, and the odds of any of them going down in value are without a doubt impossible. Like, it's just not going to happen anytime soon. So definitely solid to have. Unfortunately for these 4 chromas here, for the most part, these you don't want to have right now, unless you get a really nice deal on it, like a 1k underpay, but still even that, like as you can see, this went down 500 value just last update. This was literally 18,000, like 2 weeks ago, 18,000, now it's 15,000, or it was 17,000. But anyways, you get the point. These are going down like crazy. I do think that Chroma Water Gun is also not solid to have, because there's a lot of them in circulation. You'll notice that there are people with stacks of these, or at least one of them, who want them traded. So, and then we got these. These are all stable, as you all know. You know, these honestly, they just go down. That's kind of what all they're for. But yeah, I mean, I really like the Chroma laser. I don't actually like the Chroma logo. I think it's pretty ugly, personally, especially with the Chroma toggle, but anyways, you get the point. These are kind of lame. They don't look that good. I mean, back then, these were kind of the hype, but not anymore. But anyways, then we got our last section of the video, and we got the unique section, and we've got one item in this. For 900 value, you got Corrupt. I actually thought this was 950. I guess it's not. It's 900. But anyways, this is now stable, and is this going to go down? I don't really know. I'm going to guess that this is just going to stay stable for a while. I think it's a pretty solid weapon to have, though. I really like Corrupt, if you don't know. It is my favorite weapon probably in the game, because it just gives off the classic feel. It's a classic weapon, and it's really cool, so I like it. Hopefully you at least enjoyed. Thank you for spending your time to watch this video. And that's about it. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.